Good evening, and welcome to UCW Road Stories and Comedy Series. We're here at Whiskey's tonight. Please, we ask you to silence your cell phones and no flash photography, and please keep all bar and table talk down low during the performance. And now, I hope everyone's ready for a great time, ladies and gentlemen. Your host for the evening. He's the co-host of the hottest new podcast on the planet, the Bump and Booch Cast. You might have seen him on Adult Swim with his hit documentary, Booch Eats a Car. And he's the commentator for UCW on Fight TV. Please, Whiskies, put your hands together for Vinnie Bucci!
What's up, Whiskies? Woo! I know the DJ already said it, but I'll say it one more time. Y'all ready for a good time tonight? Now that is the noise y'all need to have for the rest of this evening. See, now I'm trusting you, sir. I'm counting on you. You know what? The honesty makes me want to trust you even more. I'm sorry, I can't. I know you don't want it, but you got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we get this started, I got one quick thing I want to do. I want to give a special thanks to Greg for helping us put us all together tonight. Thank you, Greg. Let me tell you something. He has been more excited to see me do this tonight than anybody else. No, I'm serious. We were here about a month ago at the Croc Center. I don't know if any of y'all were here for Memorial Mayhem. Some of y'all were here? All right. So anyway, we get done with the show, and I was announcing all day, so my throat is completely sore. I'm walking in here, and Greg just comes up to me, and he's being all nice. He goes, "So, some of the guys are telling me that you do comedy." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I do stand up from time to time." He goes, "You want to go on stage and tell a couple jokes for us?" I'm like, "Dude, my voice is shot right now. I can barely talk above a whisper," and I'm going to tell you how this all came about. And don't get me wrong, I love Greg, but I'm going to tell you how this all came about. That day, I had to work an 8-hour shift at my day job. You know, I'm in the glamorous world of retail, and basically my job consists of teaching customers basic things like reading, basic math, pesticide isn't edible. That's a real thing. That is a real thing. I've actually had people come up to me and ask me, is pesticide safe to drink?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm like, yes, thank you. It is. You drank it. It's like, dude, what the hell is wrong with you? Of course it's okay to drink. Bottoms up, sir. Side effects may include thinning of the herd. So then I get off work, I drive 2 hours to Greenville, South Carolina. I'm coming down for the show, only to find out that my broadcast partner's been fired. Now, I'm assuming y'all are wrestling fans because you're here tonight, so I'm going to let y'all in a little secret. I don't know if y'all really know the inner workings of doing commentary, but it's kind of a 2-3-man deal, you know? It ain't exactly a one-man show. You know, it's like, basically I'm in a situation where there's Abbott, there's no Costello. There's Penn, there's no Teller. There's no peanut butter, there's no jelly. In other words, I be fucked right now. I am fucking terrified out of my goddamn mind. And then just when I think shit can't get any crazier, I find out that my partner, who again got fired, was also the ring announcer for the evening. So now we're double in trouble. So I go and check in with the promoter. The promoter's just like, "Oh, by the way, you're ring announcing tonight." Keep in mind, this is 5:30 p.m. The show starts at 7. So I just find out, with like an hour and a half to go, that I am now ring announcing the entire show. And I have no idea what I'm doing. I am completely unprepared, and I'm about to have a panic attack.
No shit.
So in other words, a typical night of pro wrestling. So now I gotta run around this building looking at every single wrestler, finding out how much they weigh and where they're from. Except for the women, 'cause I'm not dumb enough to ask them that question. My mama didn't raise no fool, and don't get me wrong, I I love women's wrestling, but I am not going to ask a woman wrestler how much they weigh. That is the scariest thing you can ever do. In fact, I'll say this. When I was in high school, I knew there were a lot. If you ever went to high school, you know that there's a lot on the wrestling team. Some schools will actually have 1 or 2 girls on their team. And I'm going to tell you something about those female wrestlers. Those female wrestlers are the most intimidating motherfuckers on that team. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. Any woman, and I quote, any woman brave enough to step on a scale and admit her weight is not to be fucked with. Under any circumstances. That is a level of crazy I never want to fuck with ever in my lifetime. And also, another thing I want to make clear is that when I say that, I am in no way fat shaming anybody, because if you see, I've been on stage long enough for everybody to know I'm in no position to judge in that department. You know, being fat is something I've struggled with for most of my life. It's something I've had to deal with. In fact, I've been fat ever since high school, and here's something I learned. When you're a fat kid in high school, there's only 2 places you can truly fit in. And that's the cafeteria and the wrestling team. That's it. Those are our only options they give us. Now, I would include the library, but they don't allow food in there, so I'm just not going to go. I know reading is fundamental, but eating is essential, so if I got to make a choice, I'm going to choose the cafeteria every time. See, this is a girl I can hang with right here. We're in mutual agreement. Hashtag fuck the library. That's where we're at. And of course, if you heard, you know, the DJ earlier, he told you about my documentary, Booch Eats a Car. In case you haven't figured out, I'm the Booch, and some people are wondering, did he really try to do that? Yes, I did. The whole thing was documented. Basically, this is the story. I'm going to tell you how it went down. Basically, 2 years ago, I decided to eat a car. Because, as you can see, I'm a guy who makes rational decisions in life. I'm a guy people look at me and then go, he's got life figured out. He's a smart guy. But the truth is, my career at the time had hit a really low point in my life. You know, I've been fired from the Regular Guys show, DFL got canceled, and I'm still having to give lessons to stupid people. So I'm just struggling with a lot of my life. And don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of great moments in my career. I've had a lot of great blessings, things that moments I would never trade for anything in the world. It's just that I couldn't quite get to the next level, you know? I'm basically a guy playing video games stuck on level 1, you know? I'm playing Halo, I'm trying to sneak up on the guy, I step on a landmine, I explode all over the place. So a friend of mine gave me this book to read, and it was called Card by Harry Crews, which, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a pretty fucked up thing to do to somebody that's depressed, you know? Like, most of the people would give you like self-help books, take you to a seminar. I get a book about guys who eat cars. That's how my friend thought, oh, I'll cheer this guy up. So I'm reading this book, and even though in my lifetime I had never once ever dreamed of eating a car, I didn't eat Hot Wheels as a kid, sorry if it disappoints anyone, but I felt like, you know, in a way, the character spoke to me. So I figured I'd give this a shot, because I thought, at this point, what do I have to lose? Other than my health, my life, and my one and only mode of transportation. Although I have found riding the bus isn't all that bad if you just sit in the back and keep quiet to yourself. But yeah, and of course I mentioned before, one of the things I talked about was DFL. Some of you probably know what that is. Some of y'all are looking at me like, what the fuck is DFL? Well, I'll explain what it is. Before I did the documentary, I was able to do a TV show for Adult Swim, and it was called Daytime Fighting League. And it was a wrestling show that I was excited to be a part of. You saw? Yes. You saw DFL? Oh my God, yes. Thank you, Jesus. A DFL fan finally exists. That's all these guys put on. And what? You loved it? No. But you don't understand, like you're the only person not staring at me weird. I love this. So you saw the show. You know what the show's about. But yeah, so yeah. By the way, I was the Booch on that show. So anyway, but yeah, so the show, what was great about it was a wrestling show But it wasn't a normal wrestling show. There weren't like, suplexes or, jumping off the top rope or anything like that. It was basically those weird gimmick matches they used to have in the 90s. Like the bra and panty matches, the kennel from hell, Viagra on a pole, shit like that. Basically, DFL is what would happen if Vince Russo ran a wrestling company. That's Daytime Fighting League, in a nutshell. And it was great because I remember one of the matches I was in, and like I said, this guy can back me up on this. I did one match that they called a boulder holder match. I don't know if you remember that one I was on. You see that match? Okay, I'll refresh your memory, don't worry. But I'm saying, basically what it was, how the match worked was, I had to have one arm tied behind my back. And they wrapped me in saran wrap to keep my arm in place. And me and my opponent each had to wear these giant bras on our chest. And the goal was to unhook the bra with your one arm, and if you unhook the bra, you won the match. So before the show, they're asking all these people what you're going to be comfortable doing before we start, because they have different gimmick matches. So this guy comes up to me. He's all nervous. He's terrified. He's like, Mr. Bucci, I just want you to know, we got this idea for you. We want to pitch it to you. We just want to know, will you be comfortable wearing a bra? I said, sir, you were talking to a man who once wore an adult diaper filled with chocolate pudding on the radio. We're solid. We're good. So I get through the match. I win. I go on to the next round where I find out I'm fighting a girl. And again, they're coming up to me. They're all nervous, like, Mr. Bucci, we know in the next round we got your opponent for you. We just want to know, are you comfortable fighting a girl at all? I said, dude, again, you're talking to a man who once wrestled strippers at the Gold Rush. We're good, we're solid, I got this shit. And I'll tell you this last story I got before I go. Basically, as I mentioned before, I used to work for the Regular Guys show. They were one of the top radio DJs in Atlanta, so I got a chance to be part of that show for about 4 years, and it was one of the best life experiences I ever had in my life. I would say if anybody here ever has the opportunity to intern or work at a radio station, do it, it will change your life. Because one of the great things about it was I got a chance to do one-on-one interviews with a lot of celebrities that came to the studio. They trusted me to do that. And I met Todd Bridges from Different Strokes. I met Nick Swartzen from the Adam Sandler movies. But the one craziest interview I ever did in my life was in July of 2011. I did a one-on-one interview with Linda Hogan. Now, for those of you who may not know, Linda Hogan is the ex-wife of the legendary pro wrestler Hulk Hogan. And, and she had written a book at the time that was entitled Wrestling the Hulk, My Life Against the Ropes by Linda Hogan. And I will admit, I was a little conflicted going into this interview because I was, a big fan of, Hulk Hogan. I loved Hulk Hogan. I was a big fan. The training, the prayers, the vitamins, the pythons, brother. I loved Hulk Hogan. But on the other hand, this is an interview. I got to be professional, and I have to give this woman the benefit of the doubt and think that maybe, just maybe, there might be some truth in this fictional story. So we talked for about 7 minutes. Everything seems to go well, and then all of a sudden, we got an interview from Linda's publicist that makes me laugh even to this day. The email said, and I quote, "Linda Hogan was very unhappy with the interview. She was so unhappy, she canceled the rest of her tour." And it fascinated me because I had no idea as an interviewer that I possessed this kind of power. That I could just make somebody so frustrated they would quit, cancel their tour, and not want to promote their book anymore. Because if I had known this, I would have interviewed Cardi B so long ago, I would have saved the world so much pain and suffering. Imagine that, with the power of a single interview, I could have cured Bieber fever. You know what I'm saying? Give me 7 minutes of Bruno Mars. I'll piss him off so much he really won't feel like doing anything. All right, that's it for me, guys. I'm Vinnie Bucci. Thank y'all so much. Woo!
Come on, Whiskeys. You knew better than that. Give it up to Vinnie the Booch.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we got a very special treat. I assume this is what we're doing next. We doing the thing next? All right.
The thing about a thing.
Yeah, the thing about a
That
thing.
thing.
Yeah, the first thing, the second
I got
thing.
you.
You got me, buddy?
All you need is the first tune, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the road stories you came to see? Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from WWE, WCW, ECW, TNA, Plants and Slide and UCW, the longest reigning Universal Heavyweight Champion in UCW history. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Swinger!
Thank you. Shameless t-shirt plug here. Got these in large, extra large, and triple X for you. Booch.
I'm at least a double, man. Come on.
I like you, Booch. I really do. You're one of my favorites. But I do have a bone to pick with you.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's in regards to that show we had up here a few weeks ago. What did you call it? The Croc Center? What was it? Memorial Mayhem?
Yes, sir.
If anybody here was at that show, you may have noticed towards the end of my match, my eyeball was coming out of the right side of my head here, and actually that's your fault, Pooch.
My fault?
Yeah, because I came over to your little table with your bell and your time piece that you time the matches with, and I told you to get the hell off your chair so I could have it and go hit this goof in the ring, and you gave it to me. And what happened after that is I went up and I went to throw the chair at the guy's head, and it bounced off the ropes and came back and hit me in the face. And the reason it's all your fucking fault is because you should have sat your fat ass on that chair and never gave it to me in the first place. Am I right or what?
What do you want me to do?
I think you're right.
I was scared for my life. What did you want me to do?
Next time, just stay on the chair, okay? Don't let me get my hands on a chair because it always fucking backfires on you, all right?
Okay, fine.
I'm the one that always gets my head busted open.
So no matter what you say or do, don't ever touch it. Don't give you a chair again.
From here on out, Booch, don't
All right.
screw the Booch.
All right, fine. Fair enough.
I'm gonna take a seat over
All
here.
right, go take your seat. And now, ladies and gentlemen, also joining us today, you're gonna love him. He's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, from WCW, NWO, the co-host of the hottest podcast on the planet, the fucking Boochcast. Ladies and gentlemen, Buff the Stuff Bagwell.
Buff is the stuff. I'm simply delicious. Hey, here's your shit. It was in my seat.
In my defense, it wasn't your seat at the time.
No, for real. This is a great guy, man. We just had our first podcast, and we had Diamond Dallas Page, and he brought a wrestler named Johnny B. Bad, if you remember years ago. Mark Merrill's his real name. And he brought him in as a surprise, so I had them on my very first podcast of all. Next I got Stone Cold, the next is Luger, then we got Sting, so I'm like, where in the fuck do we go from here? Now who do we get? So yeah, no, but we're real excited about it, and it's called the Buff and Booch Cast, so check it out if you get a chance.
Absolutely, it's on Podbean. Check it out. We'll definitely have links to it. You guys can check it out. It'll be on the UCW sites, our sites, everywhere. But yeah, so obviously Johnny had a lot to say about Memorial Mayhem. Buff, did you have a different or better experience at Memorial Mayhem last time we were here?
I just realized that I had the best match there. That's right.
That's true. I can attest to that.
And I'm going by Johnny.
Yeah, I was standing behind the curtain, and I was myself and Kevin Sullivan and a couple other of the wrestlers on the show were standing in the back by the curtain, and it was maybe 6 or 7 minutes into the match, and the crowd was just going wild and making like the most noise and it was about the 4th or 5th match of the night.
6.
And not even without even watching it, we could just hear. And so I peeked through, and then one of the guys said, "Have they even locked up yet?" I said, "No." They got the biggest reaction to the show before they even touched. That's just to show the powerful character that Buff Bagwell is.
It also takes two, though. You know, you're Ric Flair years ago. Said, he said to me something that meant so much, and it made sense right away. And he said, "You're only as good as who you wrestle." Because if the guy you're wrestling sucks, your match is gonna suck. No matter how good you are. Yeah, it is just tough. I beat Ric Flair, Einstein. There ain't many motherfuckers that can say that. You don't lay down like that. His back don't work that way. He's one of the best. He's one of the best.
Absolutely. Yeah, somebody's been watching a lot of ESPNs lately. Woo!
Has there been ESPN in the past 30 years?
Yeah. Yes. That's exactly it, sir.
Well, yeah. Well, for starters, you're fucking wrong. Number one, because I beat him about 10 years ago. So, yeah, you're off by about 20. So, yeah. That's all right. You good? I still dig you. I like the glasses and everything. I'm gonna borrow those, please.
Absolutely. So, Johnny.
Why, fuck yeah, I'm an asshole. Are you shitting me? I come out every week on TV and tell everybody how good looking I am. You think I'm Mr. Nice fucking guy here? Fuck everybody and look at me. Everybody else was looking at the 10,000 people. I went to the 20 fucking million. Right here.
Well, yeah, speaking of looking at 20 million right there, I got to talk about this because earlier while we were doing the meet and greet, we were having some good conversations with some people, and you brought up something interesting that Bullet Bob Armstrong said one time about wrestling TV.
Yeah, it was weird. This is when wrestling had really gotten just like crazy, popular, and nobody was even thinking this is what made it smart. And Bob Armstrong came to the locker room and we were talking and everybody was excited and how big wrestling was and how big it was going to be. And he goes, you know what, guys? He said, TV is going to make wrestling one of the biggest things in the world. He said, but at the same time, it's going to kill it. And it did. I wasn't long before we had a Thunder show come up and we said, Eric, that's 2 wrestling shows a week. I said, it's just too much. It's so... And he goes, he said, they told me if I didn't do it, they'd find somebody else to do it. So at first, it was supposed to be kind of like SmackDown and Raw, where they have different groups of guys. Well, our Thunder went out, bombed, so everybody at Nitro had just all they did was get an extra 4 days a month by going to Thunder. So we didn't really have the separation. It was just 2 shows, but it just got really oversaturated. You know, it got a little saturated.
Don't forget about the 3-hour Nitro mark, you know.
And it ended like that.
When you're under contract and getting paid to be there and you're falling asleep in the back. Imagine you poor people at home. Right? You remember Booch, right?
Yeah, I remember.
3-hour Nitro.
3-hour Nitro.
48-minute interviews in the ring to start the show.
Jesus, 48.
But there was nothing worse than Nitro going on live, and as soon as it went off, them rolling down Thunder and your main event on that show too. And nobody, let me say it again, nobody is cool fucking twice. You're just not.
Overexposed.
Yeah, you can try to be cool, but you're just not. They'll be like, oh, I've already seen this guy. What's he doing back out here? You know, so, but we had a lot of fun though, man. It was a good ride. And it was just a time that wrestling was actually, I didn't have to defend wrestling for the first time in my life. It wasn't fake, it wasn't this, nobody cared. It was just entertaining. So it was just a lot of fun for all of us. A lot of fun.
Absolutely, and I you know, as a fan who watched, and I heard a lot, you know, just like everybody else out here, we all enjoyed that time. I mean, it was genuinely fun to watch wrestling. It really was. Like it was just watching you guys every week, and you know, the fact that the storylines not only made sense, but they had you get emotionally invested in. Like those are things that, you know, a lot of fans miss, and you know, you guys bringing that to the table during your time in WCW is fantastic, and of course we're here tonight. Yes, and of course we're here tonight. What is who? Okay. Yeah, we have no idea what the fuck he just said. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, this is we're here for the UC. This is UCW Road Stories and Comedy Series, and of course, both these guys are major staples in Universal Championship Wrestling. And of course, Johnny, you've been there since the beginning, man.
I did the very first show for UCW. I think it was at Anderson, South Carolina. Is that true? Just down the road here, Anderson. And it was actually at the Entertainment Center, which was a big WCW arena, where I wrestled Buff Bagwell for the very first time when I was 19 years old. He gave me a big elbow and jacked my jaw. I've forgiven him for that because I've been hit a lot harder, especially that chair thing I was talking about, Booch, a few weeks ago.
I wasn't even there for that
Exactly. I'm talking about Memorial Mayhem, where you're supposed to get your ass on the chair and stay there.
I thought you meant 2003. It's like, dude, I was in high school.
I know you weren't even alive yet.
Pretty much.
Did you ever have hair? You're
Yes.
just born that way and stayed that way, right?
No. I had hair.
Just grew into a XXX shirt.
If he was born that way, I gotta see his mama. Cause that bitch is hurting. That bitch is split from asshole to elbow. That bitch, yeah, I mean, God bless her. God bless her if she shits you out. God bless her. Matter of fact, let's give a round of applause to his mother. My God, whatever that surgery's called, clip and then sew it back up, and woo! They had a lot of shit to do when he came out. They had to fix all kind of shit.
Yeah, some women have a C-section. My mom had a C+ section. Yeah, so Johnny, other than Bud Bagwell, do you have any other favorite opponents you've had in UCW over the time?
UCW, yeah, I wrestled all the major WCW stars in WCW as well as UCW. I think that's actually the first time I ever wrestled my good friend Lex Luger, the Total Package. Yeah, we had a big match in Cobb County Civic Center.
Racked?
Yes, and I was glad to.
That's okay. I've been racked 100 times. It's okay, buddy. That fucker racks everybody.
Does it feel as painful as it looks?
It's been a while, but I think the ride down and the crash landing after you've already given up.
Yeah.
you don't know how you're gonna land, and
Absolutely. So Bub, do you have any favorite opponents in your time in UCW?
I was telling him a minute ago. I was telling him about something I was just thinking about when we were back there, and the whole idea behind this, just so everybody understands, is telling true stories that happened to us on the road. That it's shit you can't make up. You can't fake it. You can't make it up. And it's just off the chain funny. So a lot of times, comedy clubs have started to kick in, and that, like Mick Foley's and guys like that, just go out and they're not really ha funny, but they just tell great wrestling stories that are fucking crazy. You can't even make them up. So the one I was telling Johnny back there a minute ago was, I was with Sting working out at the gym one day. It was me, Sting, and Eric Watts. And I had burped. I had burped where, it was loud enough that maybe somebody heard it. He looked at me like, did you just fucking burp? And I said, yeah. I said, excuse me. He said, dude, you can't fucking be burping around me. He said, and so I was just totally, this is Sting. I'm the rookie. I'm the young one. I'm like, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. So, of course, he buys me and Eric's room, and we're in the concierge level of Marriott and all that. Well, he comes down to our room. He's got a bag of cookies. And he's going, did y'all get cookies in y'all's room? And we were like, no. And he goes, that's right, because I'm the star, kind of joking. And he goes, you want one? I said, yeah, I want one. So I reached in to get the cookie, and when I pulled it out, it was in a pile of shit. He had shit in the bag, put a cookie in it, and had me reach in to get it. And I was this far from my mouth before I realized it. So the rest of the weekend was nothing but shit stories. Eric watched shit in the dash. I mean, it was just crazy. It was just crazy, dude. But that's the kind of stuff. When you put a bunch of men on the road and you can't work till 8 o'clock that night, there's a lot of time to kill, and our minds start doing a lot of crazy shit as men. So, you know, it's either titty bar or go have some fun. And he said it was a white bag. It was a white bag he shit in, but it was done so perfect that there's no way. So I just saw the cookies sitting there. Oh, I ate it.
Take the shit off and ate them.
I ate it. Chocolate chip. Yeah, chocolate chip, baby.
I will say you're definitely a brave man for that.
Oh, dude, it was brutal. It was brutal. Eric Watts was gagging. I'm over there, I'm in amazement. So I was pissed though. I said, okay, motherfucker. I said, I see how we play. So I go, I had to shit so bad before we went to bed, and I go, I'm gonna hold it all night. When you stay at the Marriott, they put newspapers in front of your doors at the concierge level where Sting stayed. And so he put the paper there. So I snuck down and got his paper from in front of his door, brought it back into the toilet. I faced the toilet, and I opened the newspaper. Up, and so I could pee in the toilet and could shit in the paper. I do this as a grown man. But like I said, I was pissed off. There's somebody trying to get me to eat their shit. So we're down there, but now we're kind of scared. Now we're going, oh shit, we may have done too much here. So we go put it back to this front door, you know. I'm thinking, oh no, dude, this may be too much. So he goes walking down to breakfast that morning. He goes walking down, and he slings the paper, and shit goes right across the table. I mean, it's dripping off glasses, and he don't know it. And me and Eric are just going. So finally, I go, Steve, put the paper down. And by that time, he goes, God, you guys shit over here too. I smelled you on the elevator. I smelled you down here. I said, Steve, you're holding the shit. Put it down. So finally got to put it down, but still, it was just crazy. Like it kept on and on all weekend with shit stories. But that's just crazy, dude. How you get bored, man? Egg fights and cars and just. But it was, I mean, things I'll never forget the rest of my life, man. You know, I mean, it's been 30 years of my life of so many stories I can tell over and over that are really funny and true. That are, and that's why we're here to do it. It's I think it's very entertaining. I think it's great to hear this stuff.
Absolutely.
To hear the truth, the fucking truth,
Yes.
straight up.
Yes, and it is interesting because speaking of the truth and speaking of shit, one thing that these guys love to do is tell stories. One thing I love to do besides telling jokes is I like to find out the truth. Usually a lot of times there's rumors around the internet. You know, you get one side of the story, but you don't get the other side of the story. So anytime I'm blessed to be able to get the side of someone's story, that's the first thing I want to do. Now, usually when I say rumors, Buff immediately perks up because he thinks I'm about to talk about him, which 90% of the time I am. But this is the 10% where I'm going to Swinger on this one. So, Johnny, this is a rumor I read somewhere on the internet. Somebody sent this to me when I
Recently, or is this?
It was recently when I
Good. I'm back in the news.
Yes.
Hey, bad publicity is good publicity.
Well,
As long as they spell my name right.
That's what WWE
Exactly.
told me until they fired me. And then all of a sudden being bad was fucking bad. I was like, when did that fucking change?
Well, for the record, your name was spelled right. I'll make that clear. But one of the things that the rumor was that when you were in WWE, it was actually Stephanie was the one who ended up firing you, is the rumor. And it apparently was because you didn't recite a promo verbatim. So is there any truth to this?
100%. Yeah, actually, I was given my script at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was told, hey, these are your lines, and we're going to be filming this at 3:15. And I said, sure. So I folded this thing up and put it in my pocket. It was just a few lines, and where we had come from WCW, they never really handed us a script. They just usually someone would come to you and
date, city, whatever.
yeah, right. And
Be
your
yourself.
bullet points, and then you make your own. That's what professional wrestlers we ad-libbed on live television. But by the time I got there in 2005, it really was, everything was. So I took this and I didn't really look at it, and I waited till 3:15. I went over to this where they had it all set up, and they had a girl interviewing me, and I did it, and I was like, all right, thanks guys. And I went to walk away. They're like, oh, hold on a second. We got to have Stephanie, sign off on this. I was like, oh, okay. So I'm kind of standing there, like, maybe 20 minutes before she finally comes over, and they got a little monitor there, and they play it for her, and she's kind of like bent over because she's like this, and she's looking up at me, and she's looking back up at me, and she goes, I don't believe a word you just said. I said, well, they're not my words, they're yours. And she just got pissed, and she goes, well, I want you to do it again, and I want you to do it exactly the way I got it written down in this piece of paper. So I did it again exactly the way I had done it the first time. And she goes, yeah, that one's a little better, but can you do it again? So after 30 takes of this, I think I don't know if I was more tired of her or she was more tired of me, but basically that was it for me. I never won a match after that.
At least you fucking know.
Yeah, and then even Vince was.
You know why you got fired.
Yeah, no, I don't know if that's the exact reason, but after that I lost my oomph for being there, and so yeah, that is a true story, Stephanie. And she was pregnant at the time, so she was extra mean. She's horrible. She thinks she knows it all. I mean, she grew up, but she wasn't around, like from what I heard from the guys above us, she wasn't within the business to like really learn it. You know what I'm saying? But she thinks she does, and I didn't feel bad afterward because I heard she would do the same stuff with Mr. Ric Flair and these other guys. I'm like, well, I don't feel bad then. But she really does tell everybody how to talk and how to say it, and
Tell us how you really feel, Swinger.
she fucking sucks.
So when you said that when she said that you didn't do it exactly right, did you like miss a couple words? Did you ad-lib something like how?
No, and seriously, after the 30th take, she said, that one's good, we'll keep it. And that's when I knew I was fucked. I knew the whole place was fucked.
I knew we were fucked when we got there, and it's Undertaker, Stone Cold, all these stars are sitting around this monitor, and the same monitor that we would look at when there was a bad match, when they got back to the back, we would fucking light them up. You bunch of fucking idiots. Are you kidding me? That was horrible. You know what I mean? And so I'm watching this match, I'm going, oh my God, this match is horrible, man. This is unbelievable. After it was over, Stone Cold and Undertaker started clapping. So you know what the fuck I started doing. Absolutely, that was a great match.
Absolutely.
But when Undertaker and Stone Cold start clapping, you better clap, So, but I saw right there it was a completely different game. It was going to be very clicky, and WCW is more like a family, and it was a lot more fun. So it was tough to sit there and clap over a match that really sucked. I knew they knew it sucked. They knew I knew it sucked, but we were clapping for it. So I just saw it as this whole thing is not good.
Yeah, and I know, and I remember on the podcast you were talking about some issues you had in the locker room. I think there was a problem where somebody was fucking with your top hat.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Jim Ross calls me on Thursday, which is right before they fired me. So I wrestle Booker T in Tacoma, Washington, which I don't think WCW's ever been to ever. And we walk out to just boos everywhere. Everybody's getting booed to death. I mean, Shane gets booed, we get booed, Stacy Keebler gets booed, Arn Anderson gets booed. And they went from my mom calling in to the to it was a bad match is why we got fired to all kind of just silly shit. But what nobody really remembers or knows is the next week Raw was in Atlanta. Now, if you were visitor man, wouldn't you want to make the invasion in Ted Turner's back fucking yard? So we knew right there something was up because we're in Seattle, we're up in Tacoma, and me and Booker are like, hey, why the fuck are we main event? And B, why wouldn't they wait a week? I mean, it was called the Invasion. The Invasion's 5,000 miles away from Atlanta. That's not an invasion. That's crazy. But I accidentally ended up in what they call the A locker room. That's where all the number one top talent guys are. And believe me, it was an accident. I didn't mean to be there. But I was in there, and you can't sneak out once you're in there. And I was thinking, oh shit, I'm in here now. So I got my bags out, my top hat's out and everything, and I get up to go do something. I come back, when I get back, my top hat was completely crushed in. And the big thing in wrestling, you're always taught never, ever, ever to sell it. Don't ever, even in life you shouldn't, but don't ever sell it. I didn't say a word. I heard a couple giggles. I just fixed my hat back up, put it back down, no big deal. About another 30 minutes went by. I went to get catering, get something to eat or something, come back. Hat crushed in again. I was like, God damn. I still didn't sell it. I'm fucking almost whistling. I'm trying to fix it like no big deal. Hearing a couple giggles. Every eye's on me though to see if I'm going to bench or flip. So about another hour goes by and I needed a drink or a Coke or something. So I got up to go get it and I stopped. I turned around and I just punched my own fucking hat in. And I walked out and I went, let's see what they're going to fucking do with that. I come back and they had fucking fixed it. Perfectly. They perfectly fixed my hat back. I went, I'm not going to win here, guys. This is not going to be a winning solution. So it was a really rough locker room, man. It's just very tough. You couldn't wear a subset we did, which was hot stuff.
Right, there was one person was allergic to the hot stuff, and they just made it a rule nobody. But getting back to the hat thing, you actually got off easy because I heard Jerry the King Lawler when he went there. Going back to the shit story, there was more than one person shit in this crown, like the crown was full of shit. And the story on that was that Jerry, before he went to the WWF in the early 90s, he was the head of his own Memphis wrestling. He was the god of Memphis.
And he beat everybody.
Yes, and what he did was when he had a guy on video that, like, when he beat Andre the Giant.
Or like Lex Luger.
Or Lex, right? But when they went to the WWF with a big promotion, Jerry would replay the tapes over and over again of him beating these. So Mr. Perfect and all these guys that were big stars in the WWF, King was showing these videos while they were being featured on of him. Hey, don't forget, I beat all these guys, so that when King finally went up there, it was like throwing him in the jail. You know, when he was the warden, and I heard they were relentless with the crown.
Dude, they are. The WWE boys, WWF boys are much more vicious than we were. I saw him one time. Vader was always an asshole and fucking with everybody and everything. And but he was also 400 pounds, and I wasn't gonna fuck with him, so he could do whatever he wanted to do. But he came out and just kept on. He kept on fucking with Davey Boy Smith, and the Canada boys are known as being the worst people to fuck with because they're going to get you back. They're going to do it. Well, I caused some. I'm still the rookie. I caused some commotion. And Davey Boy had a syringe full of piss that he stuck in the bottom of a toothpaste of Vader's and shot piss in it. So for the next 2 years, every time that fat fuck brushed his teeth, everybody was laughing. He goes, why are you guys always laughing when I brush my teeth? I mean, down to the end of rolling it up, and I mean, I was like, oh my God, I'll never fuck with Davey Boy Smith as long as I live. But that's how those guys are, man. They're rough. I mean, it's either take it or get out, you know.
Absolutely, and I think we're moving on. Are we moving on to the Q&A now? I think, or we got time to? All right, ladies and gentlemen, these were fantastic. Before we go to the Q&A, one more time for Buff and Swinger and the great road stories they were telling tonight, guys. This is amazing. That is the most shit stories I have heard in one night, and I'm a comedian.
It's shit business, man.
Exactly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now.
Who gives a shit?
I don't. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Buff and Swinger, we'll take Q&A questions right now from the audience. And just so you know, nothing's off limits, so do not be shy. This is no punches will be pulled. All right,
Back here.
We'll start with this guy in the back. You, sir.
I never heard that ever. I've heard I was gay a bunch of times. I mean, until I knocked somebody out, I finally got a little respect. But up till then, I was the guy in the corner that had never been in jail or anything. They didn't know that I've been in jail more than all them motherfuckers put together. So I had to play Mr. Fucking, I'm the little rookie and never did anything. So yeah, so. Oh God, that was a lot, dude. There was dudes that were getting 2 and 3 a piece. I was like, dude, you just got one. You know, but you know, in our era, it turned to a guy's soap opera. You know, it was. I could be in a bar and girls are going, who the fuck's he? And guys are going, that's fucking Bagwell. Are you fucking kidding? They'll get in a picture with him, get a selfie. Come here, Bob. And I'm like, and the girls are going, who's that? You know, so yeah.
Yeah, I remember one time when I was yeah, I remember one time when I was working for the radio guys. It's interesting you brought that up. I remember Roddy Piper was in the studio one day, and we were waiting outside. Yes, Roddy Piper.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I also kicked his fucking ass.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember. But I remember I had to go pick him up from the green room. We're waiting outside to go on the air. And at the time, there was this radio station down the street, Q100, and they had all their interns were doing this contest about trying to find celebrities, either get a picture or a video of them, or get them for interviews or whatever. So this little girl comes, not little girl, but like a teenage girl, comes running up to me, college girl, and she says, "Do you have any celebrities here?" And I go, and I'm looking at her like, "You don't see Roddy Piper standing right here?" So I'm trying to be nice, so I go, Roddy Piper, right over here. And she walks over, Piper shakes his hand, and the girl just walks away. And I was like, that was Roddy fucking Piper. You just fucked yourself royally. Like, literally, I've been there for 4 years. That was probably the most famous guy that was going to walk through that fucking building at that time. Like, literally, that was it. Other than that, it was just reality TV stars and porn stars and Roddy Piper.
Wrestling really was the beginning of reality TV. It really was. We didn't know it, but it really was kind of the beginning, because Eric would see something happen backstage, like 2 guys getting a fight or something, and he'd put them in an angle together, and just to make it fucking real, you know. Me and the Ernest Cat Miller had a thing for 4 weeks before the pay-per-view where, you know, he beat me up a little bit one week, I beat him up a little bit one week, you build it up for the pay-per-view. Well, no doubt about it, for the pay-per-view, the heel always wins, so it's going to be the Blockbuster 1, 2, 3, Buff wins. In Sturgis, South Dakota!
Yes, and gentlemen.
No. So he comes up. They come up to me. The agent comes up, and then also that second agent, a third agent, Finally, it was the fourth agent and Ernest. And they come up and they start talking. And I said, look, guys, we've already got it set. Eric, we already know the finish. I'm not buying what y'all are saying. It ain't going to change. Get Eric over here if you want to, and we'll talk about it. So, about that time, Ernest goes, I think he was going to say, look, brother, don't be talking down on me like that. You know, something like that. And he got about, look, man, don't you. And that's about all he got out. And I went, pow. And I hit him, but it was gravel everywhere. So he was a big karate guy, so I just waist locked him, took him down, and my elbows were all scraped up and shit. So we had to go to Eric and get cussed out. And Ernest admitted that because of a skit I did on him with the bald cap and the red shoes and all that, he said, it just upset me that he did that good. And Eric goes, are you fucking kidding me? You okay him to do this? And because he did it good, he goes, get your fucking, get out, get your shit on, and get out there. So I had a real fight, and then a fake fight 15 minutes later. So when I fucking come out to the ring, my elbows are bleeding, and my dad, when I called him later on, he goes, why were your elbows bleeding when you came out? And I go, because I fucking got in a real fight with Cat before we went out. Of course, it was in front of all the presidents and everybody, so we had a lot of trouble. But it was just, you never, in that case, you never know, bro. It's live TV. So you may lock up with this motherfucker and he may want to kick your ass. You know, like a Scott Steiner or a Rick Steiner. What are you going to do? Run. Yeah. Run for your life.
As fast as you can, yes. All right, and sir, I know you had a question, so let's get to you.
First of all, I think you guys are being a really good example.
Thank you, man.
All right, it took Vader 2 years to go through a toothpaste.
I didn't say 2, I said about the end of 1, I think.
But yeah, like you guys started my kids, I'm in the music industry, and they never really got that until they saw performances like you guys. So, kudos.
Thank you,
Thank
brother.
you. Thank you very much, sir. It means a lot.
Thank you, yes, thank you.
Yes, and do you have any other questions? Like I said, keep going. All right, we'll go with you, sir.
I got one both of it. Johnny, what was it like working for Paul Heyman? And for you got any good Kurt Hennig rib stories?
Okay, so Swinger, we'll go to you first.
Paul Heyman, well, if his lips are moving, he's lying. We're down in Pensacola, Florida for a show, and we're about 2 or 3 weeks late on pay. And guys, listen, there's a problem with the checks. They're on a plane to Dallas. Like, well, we're in Pensacola. What the fuck you mean? I'm trying to get the plane rerouted from Dallas to... And all of a sudden, New Jack looks at because where we're dressing at, there's like windows right like on the water, and he goes, "No, look, no, there's the checks. They're coming in on a fucking boat. You're wrong. The plane crashed, but the checks survived. They're coming." That was the kind of shit that Paulie did, and he really does. They're
really trying to pull it off, right?
Yeah.
That set up truth.
In the meantime, Sandman's fucking wasted, and he goes.
No.
Sandman?
Imagine that, right?
No way.
At the beginning of the show. So he goes out for his spot. We haven't been paid in a few weeks, so he's pissed off. So he gets right in the middle of the ring, gets on them like this, goes, yeah, and then pulls his pants, underwear, everything down to his ankles. And just, the place actually was like the biggest reaction of the show, like you got for doing nothing. So he comes, this is all on the same show, so he comes to the back. And Tommy Dreamer was like, he was what you call one of our agents, like in charge of the shows. And he was mad because doing something like that would probably, what we call kill the town, meaning you can't go back to it and make money. So he's trying to fight Sandman in the back, and we're all trying to pull him apart. Sandman gets loose, and he's still naked, by the way. He's walking through the back with his pants around his ankles.
That couldn't have been a pretty sight.
So one of the ladies on the show, her name was Dawn Marie. I'm sure you remember her.
I remember her.
Right. So her bag was sitting there, and Sandman reaches in there and pulls her brush out. Says, "Yeah, come on, Dreamer." Starts combing his this is all just one night in ECW, from Paul E. But yeah, Paul E. was a great motivator. Like, he could really get in your face and go, all right, Swinger, I want you to go out there and I want you to look in that camera and go, hey, I'm Johnny Swinger. I'm from Atlanta and I'm here to take all the gold. I mean, he would do that because then you would forget about the money that he owed you. He'd get you to go out there and put on a great show and totally distract you he's the only promoter I've ever seen do this, that he would actually get in your character and get in your face, and it really would kind of blow you away and, like I said, distract you from the money he owed you.
And who did you ask about me?
If you have any Kurt Hennig rib stories.
Kurt Hennig was one of the best wrestlers of all time, number one, and I was thankful enough, thank God, to actually beat Kurt Hennig. I mean, I was, that's how WCW was. They'd let you win a couple matches and they'd pull the rug from you, so. But still, that was during that time where I was kind of, getting hot again. But Kurt had a thing called Rainbow Stew. Rainbow Stew was a handful of pills that were all different colors. And he'd give them to you, but you had to put them in your mouth and gargle with fucking Jack Daniels before you swallowed them.
Whoa!
Let me just go ahead and tell you, I did it as many times. And there was never that many. I mean, I was like, dude, I don't know I'm not sure that was fucking quite worth it. I mean, it was rough, but he was a wild, all them boys, believe it or not, were from Minnesota. You got Animal, Road Warrior.
Yes.
And,
Oh my God.
They all went to high school together too,
Yes.
so they were ribbing each other in school. So now we're adults making
Jesse
big money.
Ventura, all of them were from a lot of talent came from that, came from that city, that state. A lot of them, but yeah, that was.
Kurt was right there with Owen as far as the
But yeah, he was a huge ribber, but he liked me, so I tried to keep it there. I took the Rainbow Stew and gargled it and did everything I was supposed to do, but it fucking was horrible. I was like, an hour later. I didn't hurt. No, they took away all the pain. No, they fixed it.
All right.
They fixed it for sure.
Absolutely. Do we have? All right. So anybody else? I saw a couple hands earlier. Yes, you right here. I will get to you next. You ma'am?
Do you have any good, bad, or indifferent stories about Goldberg?
Yes, I do. Anybody that's ever met me and talked to me more than 5 minutes knows that I would never, ever, 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 ever turn an autograph down. Ever, ever, never. Just because it means something to me. If somebody has the nerve to come up to you and ask you for your autograph, that means something. So I would always, no matter what. And so, but then again, in the business and egos and all that, Marcus turned to Buff, and then now it wasn't what Marcus said that was so funny. It was, did you hear what Buff said? So, it was like, iffy, but he actually said he had visualization on me turning down a child on an airplane's autograph. I said, Bill, that's a fucking lie. I said, I don't give a fuck how big you are, how bad you are. I said, I'm the one that got you in this fucking business. You followed us around like puppy dogs forever. I said, and we told you how to do it. He did it, and he did great. But I said, you can't really mean that, can you? Are you sure? I was trying to be nice, and he goes, I watched you do it. She was so depressed. She went to her seat. She was crying. And I was like, bro, you gotta be kidding me, So it was just that kind of stuff. Like you said, that works. And I said, it's just that kind of stuff all the time that was coming at you, like the top hat or whatever, if they didn't like you.
It was fun to wrestle him too, by the way.
Oh, God.
Anybody here ever get hit by a car?
Yeah.
He's walking.
He is light as a
I was
kitten.
wondering how the spear felt.
Like I said, probably a mid-sized sedan.
And I
about
get-
60.
Just imagine Scott Steiner in the ring. You're having your hand out for a tag, and Goldberg's right over there, and you know he's the one that's getting tagged too, and you're going, oh my God. But you got a job to do, so tag, and,
Yeah.
and here comes just complete.
Fire hydrant.
And it
I
wasn't over after that spear either. There was
Yeah.
another thing after that
Jack-
where
Jack
he'd hold you upside down 6 feet in the fucking air after you just got ran
Yeah.
over, by the way, and
he was
really
rough.
kind of rethinking your career options at that point.
Yeah,
Yes.
and I will say this, and I'll go on record and say this from personal experience. When it comes to autographs, I've never seen either one of these guys turn an autograph down ever. And
Buff's
in fact-
Buff's the best I've ever seen.
Yes.
And I've said this on a number of occasions. By the way, I didn't get fired from WWE. I was released, and I requested that release in 2007. So that's 12 years I've been doing what we call independent shows. And I've never seen, and I've been on hundreds, thousands of independent shows with every big name star you could ever think of. And this guy is the absolute best I've ever seen as far as giving the people what they paid for, which is interaction with
Yes.
that you cannot get with Mr. McMahon or any of these the major league wrestling
Absolutely.
promotions.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
When you come and you buy a ticket and you come up to his table, he's got a story for you. You ask him a question and he'll go on for 30 minutes and you'll never forget it the rest of your life.
Absolutely, and like I said, in fact, in all the years that I've been, blessed to be part of UC, all the time I've been blessed to be part of UCW, I've only seen one wrestler ever turn somebody down for an autograph. And I remember it was about a year ago. We were in Marietta, Georgia, at the Cobb County Civic Center. Ironically, it was called Memorial Mayhem as well. And there was this 7-year-old kid with a poster. He walked around to every wrestler on that poster: Buff, Swinger, Carlito, the Hurricane, even Scott Steiner. And every single one of those guys, when they handed in that poster, they signed that autograph, no questions asked. One guy refused to give the kid an autograph because he didn't have money to pay him, and I bet you'll all be shocked when I give you the name, so I hope you're sitting down. But I shit you not, that guy, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I'm not lying. Now, yeah.
That's my heartthrob.
Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I found out a
The
buddy.
only reason I don't know that to be fact, but the only reason I do kind of believe it is because it's at every show I go to, it's kind of known that they're in the middle of the ring for intermission, and me and Johnny do it together, or if he's out there, me and Scotty May, and it gives the crowd something to do during intermission. It's not too long, where it's boring. We do it quick, fast, and then they come sign them at the table. And so his promoter came up to me and goes, "Hey, can Ricky get in the ring with you tonight?" This is Ricky the Dragon Steam. No. So I said, sure, no problem. I said, but let's do it. Let's do it my setup, if you don't mind. That's cool, because I watched 2 weeks ago where Ricky just clusterfucked in the ring, and I made 3 times the money over the table than he made in the ring, because you can't go in and out of the same stairs. That's the whole catch. You got to have them come in these stairs and go out the other side, or you're going to be fucked. You're not going to. It's just going to take too long. So we get out there, and the camera didn't work. He had to take his Hall of Fame ring off, which every time was too tight. To put the Hall of Fame ring on the kid's finger to do the picture, and I've been going for about 5 minutes. Take the picture, please. So yeah, but Ricky's always been straight up with me. But yeah, I can see where I could be at.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, and a friend of mine came and I witnessed it. Then a friend of mine came and told me that it was volunteering, and that guy's never lied to me ever. So I know that shit is true. But man, you had a question?
Yeah, do you have any stories about Hacksaw?
She loves it where you like.
Yeah, I have. When I got his check one time, in the mail. At WCW used to mail our checks out, and man, was I excited. And then I was like, wow, I got a pretty good bump here. And then I saw Jim Duggan at the top.
If you ask any wrestler in the business, he's considered one of the nicest, coolest, laid-back guys in the world. He really was. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's a really, really good guy. And you know, the only thing that messed us up, we didn't get, was they hired me and Del Wilkes to be Stars and Stripes. And you know, they can't be two fucking USA champs. There's just too many USAs. So when Duggan came in, we were like, what are we gonna do? I mean, who's gonna be chanting USA? So we would do it, and it kind of worked, and we got through it. But he never did nothing to me. He just had a job, and that was his gimmick. Was USA. And then he'd do his two moves, and then he'd do his two moves and go home.
All right, and you sir in the back. Yeah, you.
Hey, what was the beef between Jericho and Goldberg?
Between who?
Jericho and Goldberg.
Jericho and Goldberg.
They hated each other.
Oh, you know, I don't have any facts on that. Do you?
I was at the building when that supposed fight happened in the dressing room. I didn't see it, but the way I was told is that they had words in the locker room, and that Goldberg actually went to spear Jericho in the locker room, and Jericho hooked him in a front face lock, and they both went down, and Goldberg couldn't get free, and then there was a big pull apart.
And then I think I heard he tried again, and Jericho did it
Yeah,
again.
like he let him up, and then he went to leg dive him again. It's like, geez, Bill, you're gonna go to the well. How many times here? I mean,
Yeah.
and Jericho was a Stu Hart, where I broke in Calgary and Winnipeg, and you learn some skills there. And I think Bill just expected to run him over like he was doing to all of us on television, and Chris like really hooked him.
Yeah.
I think they worked it out years later. But,
Yeah, I think they're on good terms now. Sir, you had a question?
What about fans? You ever get any fucked up people down there?
Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
Is there any fucked up people in here? Are you fucking kidding me? I'm fucked up right now. So I'm.
His wife left town this morning.
Oh.
Fucked up all day.
Congratulations.
I'm fucked up, but it's just mentally in the
Who's
way.
married or happy?
What I mean is, I've seen somebody down at the auditorium place down there.
Once they cross the rail, they're free. You can be.
Legal murder.
Yeah.
Has anybody got a rail?
You can kill someone and go home for lunch. pretty much.
Exactly.
Where's that?
All right. Sir, you had a question?
I was just going to ask. I met The Rock and shook hands with him. And I've never felt softer hands in my life. And I just wondered, is there a special cream y'all use?
Rock's hand cream? Not familiar with that.
My first question are.
The people's hand cream? Like, is that
Are
what it's called?
you homosexual? Okay. I was asking. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I may suck cock. You don't know. But I ain't talking about no man's soft hands. Fuck. God damn. Whoa.
The second time.
I mean,
What's the cream y'all using? I mean, hell, that's a soft hand.
well, for starters, we don't got a cream we pass around to everybody, and everybody uses
The
same
wrestler
shit.
hand cream.
Wrestlers all
Let me mix some over here. Hold on, give me a second. Stop looking over there.
He needs to
It's
concentrate.
gonna make your hands real soft.
All right.
A little bit like chlorine, but it's
right.
making it soft as hell.
Okay. All right. Sir, are you in the back? Right there.
The worst shoot incident you have ever seen in your career?
Worst shoot incident you guys have seen?
In ring shoot.
Mass transit.
My You ready, John? No, you go ahead. Mine was me. It happened in my match. And there was a guy, and he didn't last long with us, but his name was like J.T. Southern or something. And he did a guitar, he had a guitar, like Van Halen kind of, you know. And we went out there, and 2 green guys, and we were trying to work together, and it just ended up being almost a full-fledged fight. And so, you know how that turns out. It looks like shit. I mean, you can hit me with a fake punch and it will look great. You hit me with a real punch, it's gonna look like shit. So, you know, it's just, we can never ever tell Goldberg that. We never teach him that one.
Yeah.
No, that was his gimmick, was that he really was real. So if we had and that's what I would say, wrestling Goldberg, it was a real fight. And it was for a few minutes, and you knew you were on TV and you're making a lot of money for it, so you just kind of suck it up.
What's the worst shit you see? Swinger?
Anyone heard of the Raging Bull Manny Fernandez?
Yes.
I'm 19 years old, maybe 8 months into this thing, and I don't think I've ever had won a match at that point. I'm booked in Cleveland, Ohio with the Raging Bull Manny Fernandez, who's on the downward slope of his career, but had a reputation of being a tough guy in wrestling, and then even in this scenario, apparently you could take out 12 guys in a bar. I've heard a lot of stories. So the promoter tells me that I'm going to be wrestling Manny Fernandez, which I was nervous right when he said that, because I knew of Manny's reputation, and he said, "You're going over," meaning I'm going to win. I'm beating this legend of wrestling. And I'm thinking, okay, are you going to tell him that, or do I got to tell him that when I get out there? So I couldn't find him anywhere. And the match guy ended up going out to the ring, and he came out, and he just proceeded to beat the living shit out of me, and I couldn't get away from him. As far as like a real shoot in the ring, that was me getting the crap kicked out of me by Manny Fernandez. Maybe 5 or 6 minutes in, I just couldn't take it anymore. So I kicked him in the throat. He threw me into the corner and charged in, and when he came running in, usually you just put your foot up. Well, I cocked it back, and I got a heel, right, and I heard, and then I just started fucking throwing bombs at him and shit, and it became a real fucking fight, and I fucking small packaged him, 1, 2, 3, went to the back, and I thought he was really gonna kill me at this point. He comes to the back and gives me a big hug. Said, "That was fucking great, you're going out with me tonight." Takes me to this strip club in Cleveland, but it was a special strip club. It was all big women. It was like, yeah, big women night. Yeah, I'd never seen anything like that before. And he bought me drinks all night long. So that was not my shoot in the ring. That was the worst one I ever had. That was the worst beating I ever took in the ring, and it turned into a real fight, like he said. And then he was my best friend afterward.
Yes. Okay, anybody else have a question?
I got another one.
You got, okay, so, all right, so I guess this will be probably the last one. Okay, let's go.
Was the heat between you and Scott Steiner real? Back
Oh
in the
my
day.
God, 100%.
I felt like you could always work better than him, but his name got him over more.
Well, yeah. Well, what happened was I broke my neck. You know, when I broke my neck, it was, remember, me and Norton were vicious and delicious, and that was going to be we were real hot, good name, all that. I break my neck. He goes to Japan. When I come back, they put me with Scotty, and we had it down pat, brother. And I knew my spot. My spot was to bounce around the big boy, you know, show him. I come up with gimmicks like staple the measuring tape to 25 and go, his fucking arm's 25 inches. Look, you know, just anything to make it funnier or make it, you know, make him bigger and better. And I never came out first. He always came out first, always giving me his step. And then he goes out and does his, you know, so holla, if you hear me, you know. And then he'd hand me the microphone. He'd hand me the mic. Well, one night that happened, and we did the thing, and no mic handover. I was like, hey, because keep in mind, a minute of talking on a 6.2 rated show on Monday nights, pretty fucking big deal. So no talk, no nothing. So I was like, damn, so I came in the back and said, Scotty, what happened with the microphone, bro? He goes, oh, man, I'm so sorry. I just forgot. I was like, okie dokie. So he fucking goes back. Next week comes, and we go back out there again, same thing. Does his holler, if you hear me, and hands the mic off again. So that pissed me off enough. When I got to the back, I just went straight to Eric, and I said, Eric, look, I don't need that motherfucker no more, and he don't fucking need me. And Eric loved it. He was like, so I can put you guys against each other now? And I said, yeah. I don't want to, but yeah. So yeah, so he, the interviews, if you ever watch the interviews, there's one specific one. If you look it up, it's in Cincinnati.
You got the overalls on, right?
No, we both had shirts off, and we both were fucking jacked. I mean, we were just jacked. I had a do-rag on, he had his shirt off, and we both had shirts. Back then, wrestlers wore their shirts off. And it wasn't fat asses that fucking covered up and acted like they were pro wrestlers. You know, everybody took their shirt off, back then. But times change. And so when he comes back, it just blew my mind that the finish, all you got to do is what they tell you at the end of. That's your job, is the ending. And the ending was, he was going to get on me a little bit of argument. We forgive each other. He turns on me, sets up the pay-per-view. So that's all we got to do. Besides that, it's free ball. Whatever you want to do, bro. Free balling. I mean, all you want to do. So we go out there, and I go to turn away because he's coming on pretty strong, just trying to cool it down, and he grabs my arm and turns me back to him. And I said, whoa, bro. I said, maybe you want to scan the fucking crowd at all the Buff Daddy signs. Yes. And he said, I don't give a damn. Beep, 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 beep. I don't give a fuck about the damn ticket. And I said, you know what? Ever since Bagwell got back into shape, I said, Scotty seems to be a little bit jealous. And that's really where it came from, was guys. I mean, Scotty had everybody. He was bigger and better than everybody, but still with the boys, the boys doing this, he had them done. So when they set the match up after that interview and the real heat and all that, we didn't speak for 2 weeks. And I had to walk up to him, and I got about 10 minutes for our match, and I said, hey, Scotty, do I got to defend myself? And he took about 30 seconds, and he went, no. Now, you don't know no, so I'm thinking, here we fucking go. Okay, he's okay. But if he didn't want to, he just kicked your fucking ass right there, and it was over.
I got one quick one.
All right.
Okay, speaking of Scott Steiner, I was always a Rick Steiner. What do you think of him?
Rick's a lot more down to earth and country boy.
He seemed crazy.
Huh?
He seemed crazy.
No, shit, no.
You should see his house. It looks like Sanford and Sons, but he's got every kind. He's got bathtub in his front yard, shovels, pickaxes.
He's got
6 acres.
He's got
of
Christmas
junk.
shit up from 10 years. I mean, right? I mean, like, just it's unbelievable. Yeah. Scotty had his yard, his grass was that high before he got married. Batteries, cars with no tires in the driveway.
Tell him about Scotty's house with the hole in the side of the house.
Scotty had a dog named, I can't remember. Arnold, very good. And he couldn't have a way because he's on the road all the time on getting him in and out of the house. So Scott just goes outside and cuts a fucking hole in the side of his house. I said, Scotty, other things can come in that fucking hole too, bro. he goes, let them come. And I was like, oh, fuck, man, okay.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, one round of applause for Buff Bagwell and Johnny Swinger. We want to thank you guys so much for coming to UCW Road Stories and Comedy Series, and this is just the beginning. We're going to be doing plenty more of these as time goes on. Of course, we're going to have lots of wrestling coming along as well. You can go to ucwtv.com to get tickets and information for where we're going to be next, where you can check out everything. And of course, I'm going to do a shameless plug here. Go to podbean.com/BuffandBoochcast. Check out our show. It's awesome. We have Diamond Dallas Page and Mark Merrow on right now. We're going to have Lex Luger coming up soon. And we haven't set dates for this yet, but we have 2 confirmations who've said they're going to do it. We got Sting and Stone Cold Steve Austin as future guests.
Whiskey.
That's right.
And
Give it up.
Yes, and Stone.
Give it up, everybody.
Stone Cold actually answered the phone, and my girl goes, "I can't believe he answered the phone." I said, well, fuck. I mean, we've known each other 30 years. And she kept going, I mean, he answered the phone.
Yes.
And I said, well, I didn't think he would either, really. But and Sting didn't, but he called right back. And both of them agreed to, let me look at my calendar, we'll check it out, yes. But I've also done their podcast. So, you gotta give and take,
Absolutely. So be on the lookout for that. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Buff the Stuff Bagwell. Johnny Swinger. I'm Vinnie Bucci.
Whiskey's give it up for him one more time. Thank you guys so very much. Y'all stick around. We're going to drink, we're going to party, and do a little singing. Once again, thank you, and a big shout out to Wild Ace Pizza, Roma's Italian Restaurant, Parallel Brickworks, Vimco Music, and Highball Energy Drinks. Y'all hang out with us tonight. We got a